Welcome back, everybody, to the Absolute Life Swine Flu Buster radio show today, where we're showing you how to maximize your life, maximize your healing, maximize your function. Dr. Mike's my special guest in the studio. Dr. Mike, wave to the camera today. We got the camera set up here. We'll kick this out on our YouTube channel. You can see us at absolutelife.com or on YouTube, Dr. Troy 2000. That means we're saving 2,000 families this year. That's why it's Dr. Troy 2000. So, Dr. Mike, we were talking about the immune system before the break. We were talking about getting the nerve system checked. And I know you were talking earlier about some of the Dr. Perot stuff from the New York University about the immune system, how patients under regular... Now, this was long-term chiropractic care. This wasn't studied people who were in car accidents and checked to see how their low back was better, even though we're amazing at that. But this was a study done with patients. They were seen once a week. If they had any interference to the nerve system, they were checked, they were adjusted, and they were taught the principle of health, healing, and abundance. So why do you think the nerve system is directly related to the immune function?
Well, yeah, you have to come down to the basic function of the body, in that the brain runs everything in the body. Without, Christopher Reeve, unfortunately, he broke the top bone in his neck. He cut the spinal cord, and what happened to the rest of his body? It shut down. His heart, he had to be on a pacemaker. His lungs, a respirator. He had to have a feeding tube, a colostomy bag. He didn't injure his organs. He didn't injure his organs, but what did he do? He shut off that pathway. So if it controls all your organs, how can it not control your immune system function?
Well, look at this. This is interesting to me. I'm just looking at some stats here that we've pulled up from the Chiropractic Memorabilia Archives. National figures show that 1,142 chiropractors treated, we like to say gave care to, 46,394 patients with influenza during 1918, with a loss of 54 patients. That's 1 out of every 886. Reports show that in New York during the flu epidemic 1918, out of every 10,000 cases medically treated, 950 died. And out of every 10,000 pneumonia cases treated medically, 4,600 of them died. More than half that had pneumonia, Dr. Mike. This is ridiculous. 64% of people who had pneumonia died under medical care. In the same epidemic, under drugless methods, only 25% of patients died of influenza out of 10,000 cases, and only 100 patients died of pneumonia out of 10,000 cases. That is ridiculously sick. 1%, Dr. Mike, 1% died from pneumonia under chiropractic care. 64% died under medically treated care. I mean, my jaw hit the floor when I read this. Influenza, look at this. Medical care, 10,000 cases treated. I'm going to read it again. 950 deaths. Under chiropractic care, or it says under drugless methods, 25. Chiropractic is a drugless method. There's some other drugless methods out there. We combine that in what we do. In pneumonia, out of 10,000 cases, just repeat it again, 6,400 died under medical methods. Under drugless methods, out of 10,000, 100 died. This just blows me away. So if you're sick, you're suffering, the only way to maximize your function is to get checked by a chiropractor who's trained to maximize your healing and function. We're not the only ones out there. I love chiropractors. I love chiropractic. I love everything about chiropractic. I love the state board. I love people who complain, because that makes us improve our service. I love taking digital x-rays. I love doing nerve scans. Man, I love crying in front of patients. I love imitating, Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these other fun things. But the reality is we're here to help people. And it's all about having fun and really creating a healthy community, a healthy family, a healthy life. And I'm getting off subject here for just a second, but recently there was a 7-year-old boy hung himself in the shower. I know you read that, Dr. Mike. I could not imagine. My daughter's almost a year. I could not imagine her doing that at age 7. Happy, healthy, abundant, prosperous little kid, little girl. I couldn't imagine putting her on 4 different medications that alter her mind, that would let her go down a path like that. That's not God's path. That clearly is not God's path in my mind. That's a path that we've made because we think we know better than the power that was put in the body, and that's all we work with. right? These drugless methods, it's all just releasing you. It's all just turning on the life force. So, Dr. Mike, I know that you've had some very heavy study in this subject matter, and I mean you're one of the East Coast. I consider you one of the top authorities on really maximizing function and maximizing healing. You just went through school. You've been training, and you are. I mean you're out here on the West Coast, and you have patients calling you right now saying, "Hey, I want to come see you," and you're like, "Well, I'm out here on the West Coast. I'll be back in a month or two, and then I'll be able to take care of it." But unfortunately, I'm not there yet. I will be, and people are just they're tracking you down all over the country.
It's because people are realizing the need for this new wave of care, this revolution in chiropractic that we're focusing on so much more than low back pain. We're focused on more than headaches. We're focused on making your entire life better. We all have a potential that we can live up to, a purpose we were created for. If you're sick and you're suffering, how are you ever going to reach that potential that you're supposed to? How are you supposed to serve your community better? How are you supposed to be a better husband, a better wife, a better student, a better son, a better daughter? How are you going to laugh? Have a good sense of humor. How are you going to love? How are you going to do anything? It's chiropractic is about potential, and it's about maximizing performance in every area of human life. And people are realizing that it's not just about avoiding disease. It's about maximizing your health, focusing on the positives in life rather than running away from the negatives.
And just kind of, I want to close the door on this whole flu thing. Instead of, you're talking about running away from the negatives. Let's embrace what's going on and go, hey, what's our plan? Rather than declaring a state of emergency, let's get a plan. Let's get a plan to create health. Let's get a plan to save lives, right? Look at this. In the same epidemic we were talking about earlier, in 1819, in reports show that chiropractors, now this is in Oklahoma, Dr. Mike, treated 3,490 cases of influenza with only 7 deaths. But the best part of all this is in Oklahoma, there is a clear record showing that chiropractors were called in 233 cases where medical doctors had cared for the patients, but finally gave up on them. The chiropractors saved all of these lost cases, but 25. And so you just, it's the one way that one way is God's way. There's another way, we call it man's way. You can take out God if you want. You can put in nature's way versus man's way. Who do you know that deserves to know this information? I mean, it's on our website. You can also go to my Maximize Living, Dr. Dreiling. So that's Maximize Living, D-R-I-L-I-N-G. That's Dr. Dreiling. So MaximizeLivingDrDreiling.com. You can also follow our link on AbsoluteLife.com, or you go to AbsoluteLifeRadio.com. We got lots of websites out there you can plug into. You can email me, Dr. Mike. You can email him, Dr. Mike at AbsoluteLife.com. He's going to be on the West Coast. I know he's setting up his website. Will be on our YouTube channel, Dr. Troy 2000. That's our goal this year. 2,000 families we want transformed this year. Get them in for protection. Whether it's in our office, we've got a couple offices in this area. We've got Gresham, we've got Beaverton, we've got Happy Valley, we've got Vancouver, we've got Dr. Mike here in Minnesota, and we have hundreds of other doctors across the country.